All righty then. What's going on, family? How y'all doing, man? Starting another week off, man. TSC Unleashed is back in the building. All right, so, sounds better. Okay, thank you. All right. Now the family, man. Okay, they all happy. Y'all happy. I'm happy. Let's get at it, baby. Let's do it, baby. So big ups to you. Thank y'all for doing this. Thank y'all. I'd like to thank y'all for taking y'all great time in chiming in and giving me some time today. Much love to you guys as well. And like I said, this is the TSC Unleashed entitled Former Bucs Super Bowl Champion says that the NFL rigged. Now I'm going to play some interviews for you guys. This goes back, family, to the Super Bowl 37 when Tampa Bay and Oakland went at each other in San Diego. And I'm pretty sure a lot of the family members remember that Super Bowl back in the day. And the guy that is breaking this down is Mr. Dwight Smith, who I don't know if you guys remember him. He was Super Bowl 37's MVP. Had multiple interceptions in the matchup, had a fantastic game that helped seal the deal against Raiders. And then, of course, a lot of really crazy stuff occurred before the game. Oakland Raiders center Barrett Robbins went missing. He went drunk and all this kind of stuff. And before I got on the show, I did some research based around what happened with Barrett Robbins. And they were saying that Barrett Robbins just, thought that the game was that they won the game. It was a bunch of bullshit. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. NBC did a bullshit story about it and try to paint the man like he had severe mental issues. Like he just went, got drunk and thought the Super Bowl, they had won it. They had already won the Super Bowl. That was all debunked by Tim Brown. That's right. Former wide receiver Tim Brown, the Hall of Fame wide receiver Tim Brown, who actually told everybody what happened to Barrett Robbins the day before the game, and all behind Callahan, who took over the team when John Gruden left to go to Tampa Bay to take over their team. So the previous, before the year started, John Gruden left to go to be the Tampa Bay coach after Tony Dungy left, and then basically he played the team that he was coaching in the Super Bowl that same year. You see what I'm saying? He left early that year. Callahan took over the team. And then all they had to do was certain things. Tim Brown will break it down. You hear from Lincoln Kennedy. These are all pro players. And Dwight Smith puts the cap on the game. So without further ado, let me get this going for you because I have this chimed in. And we're going to play a few things here from a number of different things. And we're going to start it off by bringing up this story right here. So give me a second. I'll share my screen with the family members here. And we'll start it off like this. A former Bucs, and here it is, former Bucs Super Bowl champion says NFL is rigged and Tampa Bay's 0-3 title is illegitimate. And let me then also say on top of that, that a lot of these people that actually get into these games that play in the NFL go into the mindset that, is actually a competitive thing on the field. But I got to applaud Dwight Smith because at least he kept it real to be able to live with the truth as opposed to live with a lie. So many of us are conditioned to live with a lie. This man chose to live with the truth, and he will break it down
anywhere because obviously, when you were in the Super Bowl.
That's not no advantage. I don't have no advantage.
No advantage? Okay.
No.
All right, so.
That's like saying they have advantage at every home game during the year. So, I mean, it ain't like they won every home game. So it ain't much of an advantage.
So tell me, obviously you're a defensive guy. What would the game plan that you would engage against this Kansas City high-flying offense led by the great Patrick Mahomes? I mean, how would you guys try and stop Tyreek Hill? Let's say this was back in the day. It's a Monty Kiffin-led defense. How do you think you guys would defend cats like Tyreek Hill and, of course, that fine tight end of theirs, 87, Mr. Kelsey's pretty dangerous too.
Well, we played cover 2, so it ain't much you would change. You always got somebody over the top. Our key was we had defensive line pressure, man. If you ever notice in the NFL, the teams who win is who get the most pressure on the other team's quarterback.
Well, without question, and you guys were able to do it back in the day, and the Buccaneers might be able to do it against the Chiefs' offensive line right now that's really in shambles. They're banged up. They're decimated by injury, and you might be able to rush 4 and drop 7 and take your chances that way. Is that how you would do it, Dwight?
I mean, y'all know all the X's and O's, man. I'm just sitting at home watching. I don't like to get into that because I don't believe the game is really decided on the field. So, I don't get into all the X's and O's and talking, man. Like I said, I played in the game. I set a Super Bowl record, and we knew every play they was running before the game started. So, hey, who am I to say?
Well, tell us about that week leading up to the Super Bowl, because that was the big thing. Bill Callahan was the Raiders coach at the time. Obviously, John Gruden had just come over. Tell us about that week of preparation leading up to the game and how it was executed by you guys. I mean, you could know which plays are coming. And
Tim Brown and Jerry Rice come out and say that they made them run John Gruden's offense?
Yes. Yep. It was his offense, and you guys knew exactly what was coming. Did you know every single play?
They didn't run that offense all year, though. Ain't it odd that you would run it when you're playing against us?
So did you guys know every play before the ball was snapped?
I'm just saying, man, the game ain't decided on the field. That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, I predict who's going to be in the Super Bowl. It ain't about who has the best players. Football is entertainment. So what's the most entertaining Super Bowl? The Bucs in their first one against Patrick Mahomes has nothing to do with if these are the best teams, because we know that these aren't the best teams. The Bucs are not the best NFC team.
So who's the best team in the NFC, in your opinion?
The Green Bay Packers.
Okay. But the Bucs beat them at Lambeau, though. I mean, the Bucs proved it. They went there. They beat Aaron Rodgers at his place.
You can say what you want, man. Like I say, the game ain't decided on the field.
But the Bucs beat Green Bay like 38-10 at Raymond James Stadium in the regular season.
You're not listening to me, man. You keep saying
So how is it decided then if it's not on the field?
The Giants won the Super Bowl in 2007. I had two pick sixes. One I took back 93 yards, another pick up there in New York. We beat them 40-something. We didn't have Adrian Peterson. They went on to win a Super Bowl. Like, you go for who beat what and how? Like, come on, man. Stop that.
All right, so how do you see this one playing out on Sunday?
It depends on when Vegas make that call. How Vegas ain't going to lose the most money.
So do you think the Bucs' original Super Bowl that you were a part of and won was illegitimate?
I think everyone is.
If you don't mind me asking then, and we obviously appreciate giving us a little bit of time, why do an interview for the Super Bowl if you don't believe that it's set up the right way?
Y'all asked me to. Don't nobody call me no other time until Super Bowl come, right?
No, that's fair. That's a fair statement. Did
anybody, when we got on the phone, say, hey, how's your family doing? How your kids doing? No, none of that matters. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
And I appreciate that. We do.
We do.
I mean, that is our job, though, is to talk sports. I mean, it's not personal.
So what is your honest...
job to be real.
We understand that. So what is your honest opinion of Tom Brady being in 10 Super Bowls?
My goodness. Did you hear what Dwight said? Your job is to be real.
Your honest
job to be real.
Oh.
No, none of that matters. So I'm going to give you my honest opinion.
And I appreciate that. We do.
See, all of me
that is our job, though, is to talk sports. I mean, it's not personal.
So what is your honest...
job to be real.
We understand that. So what is your honest opinion of
They went
Tom
right past
Brady,
that one. They ain't real
being in 10 Super Bowls?
Good luck. A lot of luck,
Okay.
Because, everybody say Tom Brady, but if I can remember, there's a lot of kickers kicking kicks for him to make it there.
Well, Tom Brady did put him in a position to make those kicks.
Jim Kelly. So did Jim Kelly, but his kicker missed the kick.
He did. He did miss the kick.
Right. He did.
He did miss the kick. He also lost 4 Super Bowls in a row.
But it's Jim Kelly's fault. Or it's not Tom Brady's fault if his kicker do. Like, come on, man.
He busting up their little narrative all up.
We break stuff down like it's so small. Like, this is the only reason that it happened. Like, come on, man.
So the reason you guys won the Super Bowl wasn't because of your outstanding defense. It was because that's the way it was predetermined? That's what you're
Well, I mean, if our defense was so outstanding, why we couldn't beat the Saints that year? The Saints beat us twice. So why did the Oakland Raiders say, we're going to go in with the Saints game plan? Because they had Deuce McCall, they ran the ball down our throat. Why didn't they come in and say, we're going to do the same thing?
All right, D.
Now there's no more one to talk.
See, now they won't run off.
What else to say?
We're just caught off guard a little bit. That's all.
A little bit.
To be honest with you.
No, you're not caught off guard. You're fake.
The fact that the Lions made Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders give back money, but they traded Matthew Stafford when he wanted to be.
Yeah, well, hey.
Barry Sanders didn't want to play for John Ross.
Let's not talk about the real things, man. Let's just talk about that. I got you, man.
Real deal.
Well, Barry Sanders didn't want to play for Bobby Ross, but that's another story for another day.
So
him and Calvin Johnson both asked to be traded. They wanted to go somewhere where they could try to win. They made them retire and give some of their money back.
All right, so let's, for just a second, I just want to get your thoughts on Patrick Mahomes and what he's done at his young age.
It's great, man. I mean, the key for me with most teams is let's see how your team performs after your quarterback rookie contract kicks in. After, he's off his rookie contract.
So what do you think about Jameis Winston's time in Tampa Bay now that he's in New Orleans?
Never liked it. Now, back to what I was saying. We watched the Seattle Seahawks be good until they paid Russell Wilson. We watched the Packers go to the Super Bowl until they paid Aaron Rodgers. The Eagles would win. The Rams would golf. So, you got to try to do it while you're on your rookie deal, unless you got Tom Brady as your quarterback.
All right, so how do you see this game playing out? I guess it's you already told us, right? It's just depending on what Vegas wants it to be, right?
Yeah, the New England Rams game 10-3, man. Who thought that was happening?
All right, Dwight, man, we appreciate a few minutes.
Yes, sir.
They ran off from Dwight, man. And that's the crazy part about it, man. Is that with that being said, that was Dwight Smith, too real for they fake ass on that talk show, because they wanted him to play along to the narrative. And Dwight Smith, as you can tell, is real deal Holyfield. He wasn't playing along with it. He said that it was illegitimate. He said that, and listen, he was on the plus side of it, so he didn't have any incentive to come out and speak against it. And he was the MVP of the game. This is their guy. And it's weird because it's very, very ironic, because people are just say, well, Q, we won a Super Bowl. Is that illegitimate? Was that illegitimate? Well, according to Dwight Smith, he says all of them were illegitimate, including the one where he was the MVP on. So you take it that as you will. All I'm doing is giving the family members some interesting perspective on what this guy's not our player. He's not a saint. This guy was a opposing guy against us. He had great points, and he's a former NFL MVP that's talking about this. As you can see, that the talk show host was full of it. They wanted to play along with the narrative, and that's why I talks against the narrative, because it's a bunch of BS. So with that being said, this is eye-catching. Now, I asked the question to the family members tuning into the show, TSC Unleashed. Why haven't you heard this? If you didn't hear it, why didn't you hear this article before? This happened prior to the Super Bowl, over 4 or 5 days ago, leading up to the Super Bowl. Why was this not covered? Because they're not going to cover something that's outside the agenda. It's a control window. And my perspective is getting us outside of the window so we can see what goes on. You will not manipulate any agendas around here. We will see the world as it's supposed to be. So to a degree that is. So take that as it will with the Dwight. I just wanted to blow your top on that one right quick. And also, I ain't finished talking to you yet. Let me go ahead on and play this. Now, that was from the Tampa Bay winning side of Super Bowl 37 with the Super Bowl MVP Dwight Smith. Let me then preference that by using the losers that lost to Dwight Smith in that 37 Super Bowl. This is Tim Brown, Hall of Fame wide receiver, Mr. Oakland Raider, Mr. Raider, black and silver man himself, Hall of Fame wide receiver, Tim Brown. His thoughts on what happened on that side of the fence. So let's listen to what he has to say.
Champion Rod Woodson believes Callahan struggled with the transition from coordinator to head coach.
I think Bill was still learning. He's really a good coach, especially as an offensive line coach. But when you become a head coach, you got to be a little bit different than you are as a position coach. I think that was a little challenging.
Dorsett and Brown were surprised Callahan had lasted so long with the organization.
The way he handled his guys, the way he talked to men, the way he approached, and the lack of respect that he had for men, like, people had issue with it.
We tried to get Callahan fired in 98 to 99. He walked off the field twice at middle of fourth quarter, games that we should have won. We weren't winning. You guys don't want to win here. I don't know why I came here. Walked off the field. Went to Gruden like, hey, guys emotional, whatever. Did the same thing in 99. And we went to him again and said, you got to fire this guy. We can't have a coach walking off the field in the middle of the game on us, and Gruden was fired. So from that standpoint on, we understood that Callahan was in a separate category. I think this guy was probably the worst thing to ever happen to the Raiders organization.
Now, let me pause right there, family. I'm going to get back into that, but let me pause on that for a second. This is Tim Brown talking about Callahan, who was the head coach of the team. When Gruden left, they put this guy over the team. And this is Tim Brown and other players saying that Callahan was a terrible coach, that he shouldn't have got the head coaching job, and this and this in the nest and this all this kind of stuff. And I remember reading about Callahan. He was pathetic. And Tim Brown said we need to fire this guy. He didn't have no respect. He didn't know how to talk to nobody. But at the end of the day, he had a team pretty much in cruise control. And I just want to preference that just to so the family members to get what Tim Brown's saying. Now let's get back into it because he gonna drop some more Jews on you.
Thanks to the foundation already in place, former Raiders defensive tackle Rod Coleman believes Callahan's job was a simple one.
He was already motivated. He was already self-driven and determined to make it. He had the keys to the car. He just had to drive it straight.
Oakland steamrolled through the playoffs, setting up a dream matchup against the Buccaneers and their former leader. But despite Gruden's familiarity with the offense, the Raiders were confident, as Kennedy explained.
I can't tell you how many times by the media, well, what about John Gruden? What about John Gruden? Well, whatever. We weren't really expecting Tampa Bay to be there, but we thought we had the championship. We had the number one offense in the league. Are you kidding me?
Three-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle Sam Adams, a Super Bowl champion with the Baltimore Ravens, was already imagining his new jewelry.
I was like, shit, I'm about to get my second ring. We about to drag these jokers. They ain't doing nothing against us. Nothing. We about to whoop these jokers.
Then, just 2 days before the big game, Callahan stunned the team with an inexplicable coaching decision. Tim Brown.
Monday morning, we get a booklet that says game plan to a championship.
Lincoln Kennedy.
He said, I think we can run the ball on these guys. We have to establish a run. That was his report. We have to establish a run. And I'm like, okay, hey, let's do it. It's natural. And they're smaller up front than us.
Smash mouth. Literally tell Charlie going to Charlie, look, man, we're going to all celebrate at the end of this thing. You may not see the field too much in this game because we're going to go Wheatley and Crockett and we're going to smash mouth and we're going to, beat these little guys up. Practice Wednesday and Thursday. We jumping around, having a great time. Friday morning we get in and we have a brand new game plan.
Rod Woodson.
It was a shocker to everybody. I know for me, I just couldn't believe it. I dropped my book in the meeting when he said it. I know in my 17 years of playing, even in the preseason, you don't do that.
And to change the game plan so drastically from we're not going to smash them out, we're going to try and throw the ball 60 times versus this guy. Versus the quickest, fastest defense that we have faced so far.
I don't really know what was in his mind at the time, but in looking at him and knowing the way I did, there was something that he saw on paper that rubbed him the wrong way. And I don't know what it was.
So we go into the Super Bowl knowing that we don't have a chance to win.
Callahan's decision may have shocked the entire team, but it had an especially devastating effect on one player in particular.
The guy who this is going to affect the most is Barrett Robbins. Because Barrett Robbins is the one who has to make all the calls.
Now let me pause it right there, family, because what's now going to happen is they're going to get into it, and most people probably, for those who don't remember, Barrett Robbins was the center for the Oakland Raiders leading up into that Super Bowl. He was a pretty good center for him, and this guy was then tasked with the responsibility to to deal with the acquisition of the movement from what they were doing from the run-based pound attack, which they were supposed to do going into it. And then you had this fake-ass coach change it the 2 days before the Super Bowl to go to a game plan that would help the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win the game. As you heard, Dwight Smith told you in the previous interview that I played that they knew everything, that they knew what they were going to do before they did it. Callahan changed it where it would also give them Tampa Bay the advantage. Dwight Smith said when they were calling the plays, we knew everything what they were going to do. We knew where to be. That's why we were able to beat them like that. Now, Barrett Robbins is a special case in this whole little consorted detail because he was the center of the Raiders and he went missing. He went missing a day before the Super Bowl, ended up drinking and going down to, and you remember the Super Bowl was in San Diego that year. He took a cab into Mexico and went down there and went and started, just partying it up, drinking and all this kind of stuff. Now, I could play you interviews from what they didn't try to whitewash it and say that he just had a breakdown, a mental breakdown, because he thought that the team had won. No, what happened and Tim Brown's going to tell you exactly what spurred Barrett Robbins to then leave. He could not deal with the pressure of what Callahan was about to do to him, begged him not to do that. He could not handle the pressure, broke down and took a cab to Mexico, went drinking, but all of the reports totally went past that fact. Let's listen to what the Hall of Famer Tim Brown said what actually happened.
He is begging Callahan, don't do this. I don't have time to prepare for this. Please don't do this. I was with him, and he's begging him, you can't do this to me. No, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. Well, it's that night that Barrett went out and went AWOL, that night. Now, does one have to do with the other? I say yes. You may say no. I say yes.
We may never know if the sudden game plan change pushed Barrett into his downward spiral. But
Seriously, bro? The man begged him. He didn't have time. We may never know. See, that's the type of bullshit that I'm talking right there. But anyway, that's a part of it why I say keeping it real is keeping it real in this fake plastic ass sports world with a lot of stuff going on. You heard what Tim Brown said, that it definitely was a correlation. He was a witness to the affair of Barrett Robbins begging the man not to change the game plan like this because, number one, he didn't think it would work. And number two, he knew that he didn't have time to prepare. And then that night he got drunk. He left the hotel, got drunk, and disappeared from the game. While all the other media operations saying he had a mental breakdown and then thought that they had already won the Super Bowl. I said, y'all a pack of lying dogs. And for that, and like I said, that's why we need to continue to go out. That's why the sports comb is real deal, Holyfield, just like Dwight. And I'm a 985 says Q, you need to reach out to him. And we're going to do that. I'm going to try to reach out to him and see if we get Dwight on the show because he a real deal dude. He need to be on here on this real deal talk. But anyway, this is not something to take away from what Tampa Bay did yesterday, but it's quite ironic that Dwight Smith will come out and tell the truth, even though he was the player on the plus side of this thing. So they can't say it was sour grapes from a player that was on the opposite side, like they would say about Jerry Rice, who was upset, or also upset. I could play your interview where Jerry Rice was upset along with Tim Brown. But these are not just some backup players. These guys that were there, they experienced it, they talked about it, and ultimately they knew everything. I could continue the interview, but it's all for naught because basically what they'll just be saying what I've been saying or what the Whites was saying early on in the show, that they knew everything that the Raiders was going to do. Callahan, who's the coach of the Raiders, changed the game plan so that it would have been a bit Tampa Bay 2 games before Super Bowl 37. Barrett, the center for the Raiders, didn't want it to happen, fought against it, ultimately broke down. He went AWOL because he could not deal with the mental effect of what the coach could not believe that a bastard coach like this would do stuff. And of course, like Dwight Smith said so itself, it's not controlled on the floor or the field. It's controlled outside to a degree. We're talking Super Bowls here. Who can make the most money? And of course, we also know if you want me to play you some reports, I can go back and show you some very interesting historical reports of where Vegas came from and who set Vegas up. Right now, that's not what we're going to do right now, of course, but you can feel free to do your own research. And that's what this is about. Kind of invoking everybody to have more of a look at what's going on. Very interesting. Dwight Smith comes out and says that, listen, it's rigged, and then goes on and tells the whole deal. So, listen, that's going to do it for this episode of TSC Unleashed. I appreciate you guys for stopping by for this one. It's called Former Bucs Super Bowl Champion Says NFL's Rigged. I then played the winner of the Super Bowl saying it, then the loser from their perspective and how it was all set up for it to occur. Very eye-opening. So listen, you guys are intelligent. I want you guys to format formulate your own thoughts on what both of these guys said, Dwight and all of the Raiders people, and Dwight Smith from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tim Brown, Jerry Rice, Lincoln Kennedy, Sam Adams, who are all Pro Bowlers. That's at some degree, some are Hall of Famers as well. Let them formulate and you take their testimony and you guys formulate your thoughts on what you think it is. But Tampa Bay marched on. And in the current rendition of the Super Bowl, we had a guy that went to the team 1 year. 1 year. He got there 1 year and was smoked by the Saints in the regular season by double digits, goes underneath the radar into the playoffs. Saints lose by 10, 30-20, I think it was, to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He then goes in, beats Green Bay, beats Mahomes boys. Questionable calls in those games. You watched that game like I did. A lot of questionable calls. At the end of the day, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady has a 7 Super Bowl ring, 10 appearances, 7 Super Bowl rings. That is so ridiculous. I ain't gonna say ridiculous. Listen, I ain't gonna steal nothing away from Tampa Bay, but that is so, come on, man. One just got there. It's just amazing, man. It's funny. But anyway, you guys formulate your own beliefs, and whatever you think, I want you guys to put it in the comment section below. Comment on this. What do you think about Dwight Smith? What do you think about what Tim Brown said, what Lincoln Kennedy said, also Sam Adams and several other players? What do you think about their testimonies and the eyewitness approach of what happened in this whole situation? What is your thought process? Please feel free to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and feel free to share the stream. And that'll do it for this episode of TSC Unleashed. So big ups to you guys. Much love to you, and I'm holler at you later. Peace.